I want to tell you a story that hails back to around 1996 to about 1998, when I was catching the falling at Toronto's airport church. I first heard of the Toronto blessing in 1995 while I was working in television news. We had done a report about some sort of church that is in a warehouse space near the Toronto airport. At the time, it was part of the Vineyard Group. Anyway, I was a Christian at the time, and I was attending a Pentecostal church in downtown Toronto called the Stone Church. And many people from that church were going to receive the Holy Spirit's blessing because apparently the Holy Spirit was working in that particular church at the airport. Well, I was also married at the time, and my wife wanted to go and experience this wonderful miracle, and so I figured, well, why not at least see what it's about? Well, when we got there, the very first thing I noticed was, and the worship had already begun, an amazing band. I gotta say, fantastic band. Not all the songs that I like, but boy, the musicians were really top-notch. The light show was incredible. They had pyrotechnics, the crowd was jubilant, and the sound quality was surprisingly good for being in a big open space like that. Now, the next thing that happened was a bit of a sermon. Not much of a sermon, really. It wasn't like a sermon you receive in church. It was sort of a pep talk, as it were. And then all of a sudden, as I was right on cue, and everybody seemed to know what to do. I didn't. I had no idea what was going on. They announced that it's time. It's time. What was it time for? People lining up. And I saw people getting up out of the seat, going to their favorite places. I didn't know what was going on. My wife had a little bit better idea at the time of what was going on. Maybe someone talked to her about it. She went off somewhere, and I didn't see her for a while. And I just saw people lining up, and then there was an announcement. We need catchers. Is anybody willing to do catching? We don't have enough catchers. I didn't know what that meant, but I soon figured it out. Didn't take much to figure it out, really, because people started falling. And, of course, they want to catch people and then gently place them down on the ground. And, of course, they wiggle around and make all kinds of noise. I never spoke in tongues. I went to a Pentecostal church, but I never spoke in tongues or any of that stuff. I just love Jesus, I guess. I don't know what was wrong with me. But anyway, back to the airport church. I figured I can do that. I mean, I like people. I want to help people, and I don't want them hurting themselves. And so I said, I waved to a catcher. I'll help catch. Oh, come over here, And so me and this other guy, he showed me how to catch people. And so I'm catching this person. It was mainly women for some reason where I was catching them. And I looked down the way there, and I saw a really heavy-set woman. And I thought, well, I mean, I was attending a gym at the time, and I was lifting weights. And I thought, but still, what will that be like? Well, it was difficult. It was difficult. I won't lie to you. And she went down, and everything was okay. She didn't hurt herself. And then I started noticing people who I caught earlier were now getting up and going to the end of the line. They wanted to fall down again. Once was not enough for them. So I ended up catching the same person sometimes 3 or 4 times. I didn't understand that at all. Anyway, we went back several more times. And this time, of course, I'm a pro at this, right? I catch people. That's what I do. So when the time was right and they called the time from the pulpit, I ran to my position and I greeted the other catchers. There were very few of us, of course. Most people want to fall down. Not everybody wants to catch. I wanted to catch. I wanted to help people. I wanted to make sure they're safe. Well, that's the story of when I went to the Toronto Airport Church and I caught falling people.